Hi, good day, friends. I'm here again to engage you as you listen to the following questions which you presented to me for us to discuss about. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting program, and the questions are all good ones that we all uh, will like to share our thoughts about, in the sense that from your end, you express your thoughts through those questions, and from my end, I give you my own brief explanations on each and every one of them. And all this will happen within a time frame of 5 minutes. So my explanations will not be in-depth, but just brief. Now I will leave it to you to figure out the rest components of the detailed explanation, or expected explanations. So the first question here says, how is your country being affected by the COVID virus? And then the second one says, why do you sing or chant when you raise the host and chalice during mass? And the third one says, what is the one thing you would like us to know about you? Then the fourth one says, who is your favorite saint and why? So I begin with the first one, which is about the COVID-19 pandemic in my country right now. Well, the thing is that, as at March 13th or 14th, that's when we had the first index, an Italian who visited Nigeria, precisely in Lagos, which is the commercial hub of the country and has the greatest population, in my country. And he was found out and quarantined, and of course, in the process, he received treatment. And then eventually was free of it. Then there was another case, in this case again in Ogun State, another state. But somehow these people had interaction with some other persons, and that actually resulted to the spread. So we began to get different information of the COVID-19 disease having been where people had contacted it in different parts of the country. Different states have their own different numbers, cases. With that going on, because even at that early stage, it was not really well publicized. So many people are not aware. Those in the rural areas were not aware. So the government had to set up what they call Presidential Task Force. And of course, we also had what they call National Rapid Response to the whole situation. These different bodies are all about trying to monitor the situation, bring about sensitivity or awareness of the situation, and also create preventive measures, and seeing that people adhere to all of that. Although that is not really something easy to come by, because some persons are skeptical about the presence of the disease, while others are quite aware of it and are complying with the safety measures put down in place by the government. And of course, some laboratories started coming up as test centers, although we don't have so many of that, unlike you do in the United States. And of course, there was this lockdown again that came up. In the process of this lockdown, many people were negatively affected, so the government also had to come up with measures to cushion the effect of that, which brought about corporate bodies, individuals, all coming in with some kind of intervention fund, to create palliatives to be able to, help all these individuals. And then eventually, right now, there is this ease of the lockdown, but it's done systematically, just as we have in the United States too. So but right now, we have about 2,558 cases of the disease. And then, of course, we have about 400 patients that have recovered from it. But then we had about 87 deaths so far. 87 deaths so far. So that's all I can say about the situation of the COVID-19 pandemic in my country. It's still an ongoing fight, and sensitization is still going on to help people to continue to maintain social distancing, which is still difficult to do in my country. We have so many people all over the place. Then the second question says, why do you sing or chant when you raise the host and chalice during Mass? Oh my God, that is the high point of the celebration. At that particular point, it is a moment of glory. At that point, we are on Calvary. On Calvary, Jesus has conquered. It's a place of victory. It's a place of power. It's a place where God has to be glorified and praised. It's a moment of also blessing. So when it is raised, I just sometimes the Spirit moves me to burst into singing, and I go into singing, and my singing is all about praising God, praising His amazing grace, praising His victory, praising His love, praising His compassion, praising His power, His power to save us and to deliver us from the shackles of death and from the devil himself. So it's a moment of grace, a moment of glory. And in my country, we are used to singing. We like singing a lot, and it's part of me. I love it. So don't be surprised when you see me walking along the street or walking along the hallway, and I sing or I begin to hum. Sometimes I may begin to hum under my breath, and somebody passing by might be wondering, what's this guy doing? Has he gone nuts? No, I'm just being natural. I'm just being full of joy and the wonders of what God does in our lives, and it helps me to keep going. It helps me to continue to live on. It gives those singing and those humming gives me hope. They fill me with strength. They fill me with inspiration to continue doing what I have to do and to keep living. So I love singing, and I bring that into the liturgy. Then the second one is, what is the one thing you would like us to know about you? Yeah, one thing about me is that I love peace. I hate where there is tension or I don't like anything that is hard. I want a peaceful atmosphere, a peaceful coexistence. I like where we all live together, everybody's happy, everybody is mindful of the other person, I like community kind of life, a lively community, So that's one thing about me. I love a place where we can always live in peace. It gives me such joy, it gives me such hope. It even adds extra span to my life. So I love peace. I don't like tension. I don't like where people are full of anxieties or things going on. So I love to live with people, everybody be happy, And one thing about me is that I love fun things. But not in an irresponsible way, a responsible way. Things that will keep making us happy. Keeping us happy. I am the happy-go-lucky kind of person, and when I see sad faces around me, people getting over too serious, it tends to spoil my day. It makes me feel like, what's going on here? Why? For me, it seems like something abnormal, So I like happy faces, smiling faces, people who are peaceable and so on and so forth. So there are so many things I like. I even like outdoor life a lot. I like playing the lawn tennis. I play the lawn tennis. So if you know how to play the lawn tennis, engage me. I like outdoor life and things like that. So, and of course, I have a free spirit. a free spirit. I can just move around and I can be doing one thing, in the next minute I'm doing something else, just that way, that kind of way. Then the last one says, who is your favorite saint? My favorite saint is Saint Therese, or Saint Teresa, the little flower. The little flower. And it says, why is it your favorite? It's my favorite because of her way of life. When you look at Saint Therese, she was so natural. She was so natural. She lived, even though she was a saint, but she expressed that saintliness even in her naturaliness. And her naturaliness, she was not somebody out of the blue. There are some of the saints, when you listen to their stories, it's almost like they are people from a different planet. But Saint Therese was somebody who was real and part of our own planet, and real to life, and in her own simple ways, she radiated, demonstrated the love of God, through service. She was not the type that wants to carry out extraordinary things in order to be known, or in order to show that one loves God, but in her own simple way of life, relating to others, her amazing love of God was shown, was revealed. So that's all. When you put those things together, you see why I actually love her. I can identify with her. And I do ask her for prayer to help me out. Love. Do little things with great love. Do little things with great love. She lives her life ordinarily, but you wouldn't even know that she was a saint. But because she was so simple, and also very accommodating, So I just want to say that she's my favorite saint. There are other saints I really want to emulate their way of life, and I admire, but she is number one for me. So I hope I've answered your questions. I'm also hoping to get more questions in future for us to work on and engage our thoughts, engage ourselves as we share our thoughts together. Meanwhile, I want to say have a blessed day and thank you for listening.